This is for listeners to the Scary EIRE Paranormal podcast, or indeed any other interested parties. For those of you who are looking on YouTube, there's a link below if you'd like to take a survey I'm about to talk about. Don't worry, it's not that kind of thing. This is up to you. And if you're looking at me on, say, TikTok or any other platform, email paranormalireland@protonmail.com. paranormalireland@protonmail.com. So, what am I talking about? Well, essentially, has anything unusual or mysterious ever happened to you? Not necessarily in the paranormal, as in what seeing a ghost or watching something weird and wondering about it. No, like an unusual occurrence, strange. So I'm going to give you some examples that I've had, because, like, to be quite honest, what started me down the Scary EIRE road, for those of you who know me, is that I encountered a kind of an apparition, a lady, when I was a child, growing up in an old military barracks. It's still there, called Cahill. It used to be Portobello. It had a rich history to it. And so I literally saw a ghost, if that's what you want to call it. I think it was a replay of history, though, or something. And I wasn't hanging around to find out. So that's what started me. But in the survey, if you see below, which is in relation to a guest I'm going to have on the show, I'll keep them anonymous for now. If you do that survey, especially if you're on YouTube there, see the link. Here's what I'm looking for. Have you ever seen something out of the corner of your eye and you're convinced it's there? Have you ever heard odd sounds or voices and you're the only one that hears them? Or you've heard a noise and you go to investigate the area where the noise came from and you can't find anything? Those are kind of stranger things, if you like, minor occurrences. And I think these research, and we'll find out when we have the guest on, is essentially to catalogue as many of those as possible. Up to 25% of the populations, generally from research in Europe, have experienced such phenomena. And sorry, every time I say phenomena, I go do 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 do. It's so childish of me. So I thought long and hard, did I have anything to share in that area? Because I really just think, oh, Mark, you saw the ghost thing and that's been it. And I often have imposter syndrome if I'm dealing with the likes of Ghost EIRE or Puka Paranormal, or Jenny up in Emerald Isle Paranormal, or any of the wonderful people I've come to know, Matthew, of course, down in Cork Supernatural Society. I always have a bit of imposter syndrome because I'm kind of going, well, I saw the one thing, and you guys are all so set up technically. You know, you really are into it. And that's why I'd say to anybody who, you know, is skeptical about such thing, you're wrong. These people I'm talking about, they're serious players. They don't entertain trickery. They detest it because they feel it detracts from their serious investigative work, which by their own admittance, probably 99% of the time yields absolutely nothing. But when it does, as we saw recently in the what is it called? There's a name for it, of course. You know, the EVPs, electronic voice phenomena show that we had there way back. There are some amazing investigations, and they've yielded some total gems. And I don't doubt for a moment when those EVPs have been shared with me by the aforementioned investigators that they're genuine. I just know. I know, because they don't always agree with everything I have to say. Or did you see? They'll often say to me, I was in Leap Castle and I saw nothing. Matthew. So the things I came up with were as follows. Very recently, myself and my wife were out having a walk down the main road outside UCD in Dublin. And this flutter noise came right by her left ear. I was to the right of her. Shame on me, she was out in the road. This noise came, for all the world, like the noise of a plastic bag or the fluttering of, say, a seagull or a pigeon going back by really fast. We both heard that, but we couldn't see anything, and it was so close. And, you know, you would have seen it dash by you or fly by you. We saw nothing. We just heard this noise, this rustle at speed, flappy noise, and it was gone. So that was one example I can think of. This is one you're going to roll your eyes at, but I kind of have always stood by my guns on it. And it's a few years back, not too long ago, I have a routine often where I will make, lucky wife, I will make my wife breakfast. And Sunday mornings, maybe give her a fry up or something like that. And she'll sit up in the bed with her little laptop or her papers or whatever, and Muggins here will make up the breakfast. And we have one of these 4 compartments toasters, because we're posh. We don't just have the 2, we have 4. And that's why I'm so fat. And so I had the toast ready to go. I had it in the toaster, and I went upstairs to give her her tea and her fry up. I said, look, I'm going to have the toast up in a second. Went down, no toast. Now, we don't live where a tramp or somebody could just walk by. Front door, there was no way they were going to get through. The garden is all just terraced gardens. I mean, you might say you imagined it. Have to allow for that margin of error. I have to. But it's like, I'm really sure I had the toast loaded in the toaster and it just wasn't there when I came down. So that happened, I think. What else have I had strange kind of happenings? Please indulge me if you can, you know, with your own. And we'll get them on the show before the weekend if you want. Paranormal Ireland at protonmail.com, Proton. Paranormal Ireland at protonmail.com. What else have I had? Well, I do like my cat. I like my pussy. And I often feel I really can communicate with him just by looking at him. But that's different, I suppose. There's nothing really weird about that. What we're looking for is strange and unexplainable, basically. Inklings you might have. Here's one I used to use, and I suppose it's an intuition thing. So for many years, I was in IT. I was in computer sales. Oh God, I got in at the right time as well with the whole laptop thing in the early 90s. I did really, really well. That's beside. So what, says you. Well, as a sales guy, I'd often think of customers that have dealt with me in the past that I had either won, maybe I didn't do the business with them, but out of the blue their name would come into the old grey matter. And I had a rule: obey your intuition. The moment I thought of those people, especially when it just came out of the blue, I would get on the blower. I'd get on the phone and I'd phone them. And the amount of times that customer or potential customer said to me, weird, I was just thinking about you. We're actually interested in 15 laptops. The amount of time, I have to get my plurals right, the amount of times that happened to me. I mean, I lived by it. Now, I didn't always hit the mark, but more than often I did. And you probably have had something similar. Am I spitting here? Sorry. It's been a long night. I'm of a dry old gob on me. Also, just watch out, because earlier tonight, in the background around here, behind that white seat, it mightn't be now, but I have had orbs in the place. Now, orbs, the jury's out. I had 2 playful ones on a video I made earlier tonight. If you do look at the one of the videos where I'm dressed like this in my black shirt, you'll see them. They were in just behind the seat. I don't know what they are. They could be dust that the camera picks up at certain times. The only thing I will say is very recently I had an orb behind me, smallish one, go up, down, diagonal. You know, like you see the UFO or UAPs or whatever they're called now. You know this at speed and at right angles. That was really. I have it somewhere. It came in here at the back, up, in an upside down L shape, down, across. It didn't move like the normal orbs. I'm looking out for them here as I'm speaking to you. They're probably gone now that I'm talking about them. So orbs as well, if you have. The late Jerry Ryan, God rest him, I always remember he didn't have mad paranormal stories, but he had one about a room he was in, and this black dot, or like a black ball, used to come in and hover either in the centre of the room or close to the ground, and then it would, of its own volition, get up and kind of move out of the room. I have a sister who swears by that in a former house she had up around the Sutton area, that the black ball would come in. I had, God, I only met him recently. I hadn't seen him in about 30 years. A former sales colleague who's in TV now. Hello, Niall. And he was staying in Ranelagh in a flat when he was a young man. And he woke up one morning, and he's from the north of Ireland, you see, and he described to me how the smoke, there was like a smoke came in under, I'm not doing that very well, it came under the door, and the way he described this smoke that came into his room was, he said, do you know on TV if an octopus gets hit by a spear or something underwater and all this ink comes out? He said it was like that. It was in that kind of combustible up, hung around in the room for a bit, then in its shape inverted and went right back out the way it came in. So that was his. I actually, when I saw him recently, I didn't mention it to him in case he thought I was off my head, but I have a memory like a freaking elephant. So that's happened. Have I anything else? I do think if you're in proximity to water, you can have some really bizarre dreams. And in that barracks that I'm speaking of, I think there was an underground, it might still be there, an underground river around there. Hello to Noel MacDonald, if you're there. Noel MacDonald is the archivist for Cahal Barracks. Very interesting guy. I had him on the very first Scary EIRE show. I returned to the barracks where I had lived for 25 years, and I hadn't been there in probably 25 years. So we had a chat. So if you ever go to Scary EIRE Paranormal podcast, go to episode 1. It's here on YouTube as well. It's all over the place. Paranormal UK Radio, you probably haven't heard of them, but they carry it. It's a misnomer. They're based in the States. They carry that show, and it goes onto all kinds of platforms, Audible, Spotify, whatever. I need to control it though better because I don't know where we are with data. I know the YouTube channel here does get a good, healthy amount of hits. You know, like we had the female special recently with about 180 hits. You might roll your eyes at that, but that's not bad. And I know a lot of that was shared on social media as well. Can I think of anything else before I leave you tonight? Or can you think of anything else? Remember, email paranormalireland@protonmail.com. Go on, take it down. paranormalireland@protonmail.com. If you want to take the survey on YouTube, it'll be down. I'll put a link below. I did it myself. And by the way, it's totally confidential. They don't even store your IP address. They don't even use your own name. Right, it's for the purposes of an academic, and that academic is researching kind of weird and unexplained phenomenon, unusual. We did in the barracks have a friend of mine came over. He was going to the loo one day. This house, by the way, Michael Collins had an office in it. It wasn't him, right? But it was Michael Collins had an office in it. My friend was going to the loo. We were only kids at the time. He was 19ish, and he came out and he said, Where's the music coming out of? Who's doing the singing? And my mother went, God rest her. She went, I've heard that when I've been alone in this house. It's like a harpsichord and a female singing. And he said, yeah, that was an instrument, a kind of harpsichordy noise, a stringy noise, and a like a young girl or a woman singing. That happened. Think of your own if you have them. I'd love to hear from you, and get it all together. What else news have I got for you? Kieran Fanning has a new book out, and you can hear about it on the show. There's a little promo done, but check it out. Kieran Fanning. I know he did Haunted Ireland. I think we had him as a guest on. He's such a lovely guy, and like it's not a Mickey Mouse like self-published book. If you go out and you look, they're beautifully illustrated books, and they're a good present, by the way, for any of your children, and they're beautifully illustrated as all Irish folk tales and what have you. Kieran Fanning with a K, check him out. Anything else, guys? Anything else? Jenny, if you're back, I want to hear your stuff that you told me about. Okay, and the other thing before I go is, now I have a very layman's description of this, but I believe para-unity is a buzzword in the paranormal community, and I think para-unity is the acceptance and welcoming of everybody's opinion on the paranormal, professionals and amateurs alike. So it's a big kind of kumbaya thing. I could be wrong. Put me right, someone. If you're looking in from Ghost Era, Anthony, put me right, But para-unity, I just thought of something else I need to share with you. Para-unity, to my mind, from my, as I said, probably layman's understanding of it, it's probably not a great thing, because I feel the serious investigators' work, dedication over years, is probably being is polluted, the word, but diluted, let's say, by the well-intentioned, probably, but very pedestrian views of those amateurs who just go along to see if they'll have the opportunity to see a ghost. And if they don't see anything, their imaginations get very aroused. Or their cynicism infiltrates, as I said, pollutes the good work of dedicated paranormal investigators. Am I wrong or am I right? Do you guys have any views on that? I know everyone wants to be liked and they don't want to offend anyone these days. But as I said, and my view, I use that word pedestrian, is probably, I just know para-unity, the bit I researched on it by Google, seemed to suggest it was like an opening to everybody's interpretations and opinions on all things paranormal. I'm sorry, but if you're just kind of having a go at this, and again I say that with respect, you're like me. I'm having a go at it. My interest is there, but I can't say 100% my heart's in it. It's not like a 24/7 thing I think about. There are the likes of the people I've mentioned and organisations I've mentioned, people like PJ across in Galway, Paranormal Awakenings, and Anthony and Jenny and Matthew and everyone else who really are strictly the business in terms of passion for what they do and validity in what they do. So now, I mentioned I mentioned the letters PJ, and I'm going to have to talk very briefly here about some bad news. I think there are 3 PJs I know of. Puka Vogue, Hello, PJ. You owe me some freaking content, by the way, because he's just back from the States and he loves the States. He likes to go over there and do these paranormal investigations. Knew I'd run out of words someday. And then there's PJ I mentioned across in Galway, who put me in touch with PJ Doog, who featured in the Last But One show. That's not a name of a show. It was 2 shows ago, right? I only spoke to the man once, and I've got lots of material from him as well. Now, unfortunately, about 3 weeks ago, which was like about a month after our interview, and I will say to you, when I was speaking to him, in my head I kept going, I'd love to have a pint with this guy. He was so down to earth. There was nothing histrionic there was nothing fake about him. He was a lovely guy. Like, was he a Kilkenny man originally? But he was based down in Carlow, and he passed away. And he looked so healthy. I went to RIP.ie. I have tried to contact the family out of respect. I haven't had any luck, because I've material of his. I know he gave me permission to use it, but out of respect, I wonder, is it a good idea? Maybe it is a tribute, because he gave me one really good story that I didn't broadcast. But God rest him, he was a lovely man. And that heart thing, that can get you anytime. I'm quadrupled, and I'm going into 7 years with a pretty good diagnosis, by the way. But it nearly got me. But anything, as you know, I've known people who've got turbo cancers and they're gone. So you do not know the day nor the hour. It's like that old song years ago. Do you remember there was a band called Bread? Is there someone you know who's loving you so, but you're taking them all for granted? You might lose them someday. Someone takes them away, and you don't hear a word they say. I know that might sound a bit schmaltzy, but where I'm coming from is we don't know. We don't know when our time is up. I think this man was younger than me by a few years. I got a shock. I think I've said enough for tonight. It was an impromptu visit. If you are looking on YouTube, please take the survey below. You'll see a link to it. And if you just want to email the show, I will definitely have it hell or high water out by Sunday, if not earlier, of this week. Because it has been a while now. I was away in Edinburgh and I was doing all kinds of crap. The Marco was back. If you're looking in and you want to email the show, paranormalireland@protonmail.com. It's good to be silent every so often as well, isn't it? Because I do too much of that. But yeah, if anything comes to you, I'd really welcome it. If you want a guest on the show as well, that's not a problem. You've got a good story or a good opinion on something, we want to hear it. For those of you who do listen regularly and whatever, please start sharing it on social media. I don't have full control of Scary EIRE to distribute it, but maybe I should take some control. That's no disrespect to Paranormal UK. They're brilliant. They do a good job, but I need to see analytics and stats and what have you. And oh, by the way, what's your name? Quiva. You know who you are if you're looking at this. You took part in the female Scary EIRE. We did the last one. You have, and no disrespect to the others, they were brilliant as well, but you hit a chord with me, as you did as well, Rosemary, if you're looking. But Quiva, you're a young woman, and you told the story about, was it Wicklow Jail? And your voice, it resonated with me, and how do I put it? I think some people have great insight, or they're just connected, be it in a psychic way or a medium way. I got that vibe off you. And who am I to say that? But my intuition went, I like the sound of her. I like how you told the story. I like the younger perspective of it. And like the mold I deal with, I just thought, Quiva, you're no fake. So if anyone's watching this, they know the Quiva I'm talking about. She was the second story on the Scary EIRE female special. I wouldn't mind a chat with you. We'll have a chat. If guest on the show, whatever you want to do, it would be good. And as I said, that's not out of any favoritism. It's just, did you know when someone just, you click, and I kind of went to myself, I like how her mind operates on this. And then there was all the others as well, including Tara Moore. Now, a little story about Tara Moore, appropriately enough. Tara Moore is my sister, and she's based in the UK, and she's an author. I don't know if she's written recently, but she wrote quite a lot of books in her time, and she was published as well by a big publishing house called, because I'm looking here, I know this guy, one of the guys out of Duran Duran, who are my favourite band, I know he was published by the same outfit who my sister was published by, and they're big. So they're so big I can't see who the frickin' publisher is. So Tara Moore is my sister, that's what I'm saying. Orion Books, they're big. Orion Books. Maybe I'll have Tara on herself and she can tell you all about her. She's very down to earth and great intuition as well. So have I outstayed my welcome? I think I have. So you know where to get me, paranormalireland@protonmail.com. If you want to take the survey on YouTube, it'll be down below. Good night, and may your God go with you. I clicked the wrong button. Good night, and may your God go with you, kids.